Pandas are so trash, though. They literally have to watch porn to read, bro. You said po? That is not po. That is not po, bro. Porn is not a curse word. And today we got what kind of bear truly is the best? Bear tier list. Okay, off rip, S tier has to most definitely be Polar, Grizzly, and Kodiak, or Kodak, whatever the heck it's called. Though I got those three at the top for sure. F tier, or like the bottom, it gotta be Koala and Panda. If Koala and Panda are anything above F, I'm crashing out and ending the video. Let's get it going.
This episode was brought to you by Skillshare.
Appreciate you, Skillshare. Oh wait, I'm stupid. Hey man, you already know the vibes. 1 curse, 3 push-ups. Be sure to check out my other channels. When you type in the SXY channel, be sure to type in Stan X Yoyo. If you don't, you're gonna see titties, and it's not gonna be fun. So let's just get straight into it. Titties is not a curse word, by the way. Lock. That is. Wait, look at the way he spreads his legs, bro. I know that hurt. Yeah, I know that hurt. He had to sit down, bro. Hold, let me turn these cameras off.
Question: what kind of bear is best?
Polar, off rip, 100%.
Every so often, the metagame of Outside breaks into the mainstream for a bit. Famous examples include the Choose 2 puzzle, or the horse-sized duck, or 100 duck.
Bro, it's a horse-sized duck. Are you kidding me? It doesn't have horse. I've never understood this. Bro, it doesn't have horse, what's the word? Horse, what's the, oh wait, why is my chat so small? It doesn't have horse, what is the word I'm looking for, bro? What's the word, hold up. What's the word for defense? It doesn't have horse, god dang it, frick. What's the word? What's the word for, like, I can't hit something because it's like, it has thick skin. It doesn't have horse. Durability. Jesus Christ. It doesn't have horse durability, bro. One roundhouse kick to the neck and that hoe is gone, bro. 444 Kiara with another gifted. Thank you. It doesn't have horse durability. Like, that's easy. That is extremely easy.
Duck-sized horses meme. But perhaps the most famous example is the simple question posed by Jim Halpert in Season 3, Episode 21 of The Office, where he...
I've never seen a singular episode of The Office, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if that makes me a bad person, a good person, or a regular person, but like, I've never understood it. I've never, it's The Office and Grey's Anatomy. If you watch all of Grey's Anatomy, you are you're a dick sucker, bro. If you watch all of Grey's Anatomy and don't know how to perform open heart surgery, that is insane. Because you've literally watched hundreds of episodes of literal, like, nope, dick sucking is not a curse. Not a curse. Don't do that. No. I've said dick before. No. How many episodes? How many episodes are in Grey's Anatomy? You have watched 440 episodes of people doing that, and you got no degree out of it, bro. None. It's crazy.
He asks what
Same thing with One Piece, bro. I'm playing. I don't want no smoke with y'all.
kind of bear is best. But before we answer that, let's take a step back and hear how Dwight responds.
There are basically 2 schools of thought.
He doesn't get to finish his sentence before he gets cut off, but he's right. There are 2 schools of thought.
Okay,
Those being the generalist approach and the specialist approach.
Okay.
So which school of thought is better when trying to optimize a bear build? I think the best way to answer that is to outline each approach's most relevant members and rank each of them on a tier list. So without further ado, let's get into it. Perhaps one of the most famous examples of a specialist bear is the panda. I don't think many players would...
Pandas are so trash, though. They literally have to watch porn to reproduce, bro. Like, humans have them on our backs, bro. You said po? That is not po. That is not po, bro. Porn is not a curse word. Like, gang, this is not po, bro. This is not. He couldn't even hold a crane stance, twin. You would fall out of a tree. No.
Would dispute that pandas are easily one of the worst builds in the current...
Oh, thank you. Okay, I thought you were going to glaze.
Meta. What they will dispute is...
Ho is not a... Okay, look. Ho isn't a curse word. Hail isn't a curse word. She isn't a curse word. Buh isn't a curse word. Come on, bro. Y'all got to lock in with me. Bro.
Is why. A lot of players think that pandas are garbage because they have an extremely low respawn rate. But pandas actually give birth just as often as other bears. Yes, it's rare, but that hasn't stopped the higher tier bears. What's really holding these bears back is their absolute dependence on bamboo. Of all the specialized bears, pandas are by far the most over-specialized. The combination of stats and abilities they've got have made it so even if they decided to stop being strict herbivores and pursue a more generalist approach, they can't really do
They're already too fat and lazy
it without a massive respec. They've got the bite force comparable to lions and tigers, but with
just to bite some freaking bamboo, bro. It's crazy. Dog.
Mobility and stealth as low as theirs, there's no way they'd ever be able to make use of it against another player. Pandas use most of their evolution points on their special ability Pseudo-Thumb, a bony-like appendage that allows them to better hold on to bamboo. The rest of their evolution points, I assume, were spent on their ridiculous palette swap. This is the only bear I could even consider being below average. We have to jump all.
Bro, literally imagine evolving just so you could do this. You're literally dick sucking, bro. Like literally, bro. You're trash. You're trash. I would trade pandas for saber-tooth tigers, bro. No cap. No cap.
All the way up to C tier before we get to the next lowest bear. Next on the tier list we have the sloth bear and the sun bear.
Let me in.
These bears use another specialist type build, this time focusing on insects. Now sloth bears and sun bears are miles ahead of the panda in viability. Insects, especially beehives,
I remember someone in my DM said I looked like a sun bear with a wide body kit. That upset me.
are a great source of XP, assuming you can tank the damage from the stings. Not only that, but unlike bamboo, insects are pretty much everywhere, so habitat loss due to
It wasn't that funny. It wasn't that funny.
the human builder player doesn't pose as big a problem to them as it does for pandas. What keeps them down is that although they're great at tearing into well-fortified ant and bee bases, they're actually not very good at defending themselves. They have losing matchups against every other key player in their region, including pythons, leopards, dholes, and tigers. And for that, I have to place them in C tier. The highest ranking specialist type bear on our list is the polar bear. The polar bear is one of the
That's easy S. That's easy S right there.
biggest land predators in the entire game, but despite their ridiculously high power stat, they have pretty bad matchups against the other popular Arctic classes. I've actually done an entire video on the Arctic meta, which
Oh, I gotta watch that.
you can watch here, but the long and short of it is that their immense strength doesn't really come in handy that much, since their best strategy to score limbs on seals is to catch them off guard when they come up to recharge their stamina gauge. They don't have the mobility to chase seals down in the water, nor do they have the strength to defeat walruses on land.
How can a bro, just bite into its like side or something? Am I tripping? Wait, is this not? He can't do this? Why can't he do this? Cause polar bears be eating like humans and stuff. What? Do you see the teeth? But yeah, but it's like mad slow. Like bite it in the butt or something. Maybe I'm tripping. Hey man, put me on the sticks. I'm getting a walrus, bro.
So in my opinion, there's far too much luck involved in the polar bear gameplay to rate them any higher.
That's crazy. Maybe I don't know ball, bro. Maybe I don't know ball. Cause I definitely thought a polar was an easy S. Polar bears are nerfed by its habitat, huh? So if you put like a polar bear where like a grizzly bear is, you think it'll do better? Well, I mean, obviously not with the color, but
than B tier. So that's all of the specialist bears. Now we're on to the generalist bears. Generalist builds, if done right, will pretty much
Koalas are
always
trash.
outclass their specialized counterparts, since they're much more prepared to cope with the rapid shifts of the meta. Like, for example, if human players need materials to build their forts, or if the ice starts to melt. In addition, these next builds differ from the others because they've got the bear's signature move, Hibernate. Hibernation is key to the success of the bear players, because it allows them to completely skip the time of year that they're least suited to. Now, this does incur some difficulty on the player, since if they fail to collect enough loot to get them through the winter, Hibernation will actually drain their HP and possibly even lead to a game over.
imagine dying in your sleep because you couldn't stand being cold. Relatable. I hate being cold. I couldn't do it. Like living in a northern state would absolutely, bro. I would actually, gang. If I lived in Colorado's not cold. If I lived in what's a cold state? Wisconsin? If I lived in New York, I'd actually hibernate, bro. I would be the first human to do that. I can't do it.
But if the bear's abilities are used correctly, this shouldn't be too big an issue. The first of the generalist bears on our list is the brown bear. Brown bears have one of the highest power stats in the game, with their sheer force being outclassed only by bull, cattle, and elephant builds.
Okay.
They've also got fairly high mobility, although it can't quite match that of the wolves or elk that they share a server with. But both of these stats are put to good use because of the animal's high intelligence, one of the highest among solitary builds.
And people think a gorilla is beating that. It's crazy.
This lets bears use their strength to successfully raid the treasure chests that human settlements control.
Bears are literally just big raccoons now that I'm like actually genuinely thinking about it.
Now, unlike its more specialized counterparts, it doesn't have the same venom resistances that would allow the sun bear and sloth bear to easily take out you social insect players. So it's certainly not invincible by any stretch. But it can make up for these inconsistencies by doing what it does best: griefing salmon mains. The salmon questline's final objective is to return to their spawn point, and unfortunately,
spawn camping is crazy. Spawn camping is in a group, mind you. Big ass predators, bro. They could definitely get something else, but they're going. That's crazy.
Questline's final objective is to return to their spawn point, and unfortunately, this exploit is pretty common knowledge among the bear subreddits and whatnot. Brown bears have almost as good a matchup against fish as ospreys do. It's really unfair, honestly. There are a few varieties of brown bear, of which the grizzly is actually the weakest.
Say you swear to God, do I not know ball? I thought grizzlies were like that. Do I not know what I'm talking about?
Sitting at the high end of A tier, the strongest variety of brown bear, the Kodiak bear,
oh, okay,
can just barely sneak its way into S tier, along with the last bear on our list, the black bear.
I thought black bears were soft.
Black bears are true champions of adaptability. When the Anthropocene patch dropped, every other North American bear actually quit the server, including one of the Ice Age meta's top tiers, the cave bear. Cave bears and the Florida spectacled bear were both specialists that were unable to adapt to the new meta, but the black bear player base has flourished. This is thanks to having slightly scaled back versions of all the brown bear's abilities, plus extremely high arboreal mobility. This allows them to get access to valuable loot sources such as tree nuts, beehives, and birds' nests. So yeah.
Is that a black bear on top of a power line?
Access to valuable loot sources such as tree nuts, beehives, and birds' nests.
At this point, get a job, bro. At this point, get a job. It's never that serious, bro. It's never that serious, bro. You climbed all the way up here to get some eggs? For some eggs, bro? At this point, bro, you are on top of a power line. Your big ad is about 2 inches away from getting shocked. How you finna get that? Come, do something better with your time, bro. This is just obnoxious.
So yeah, Jim is kinda right when he says the classic line,
False. Black bear.
skills are essential for any effective character, but instead of spending millions of years saving up the evolution points necessary to get them, you can unlock skills right now by using Skillshare.
I bet I can. Hey man, that's gonna be the video from I bet I can is disrespectful. I'm sorry. I bet I can is disrespectful. I'm sorry, TierZoo. I just don't have the attention span. I hope you guys liked the video. I'll be sure to catch you on the next one. That's gonna be it from me. Peace.